Good evening, everyone. India, a younger state but an older nation, usually finds itself in a complex juncture when it comes to define its relationship with the world. At 75, India went from a biopolar nation where US and the Soviet Union are the only powers to the world where America has rises as a hegemony in the whole world, to where the China versus America are still behaving like a multipolar and ignoring the other illusions. India has come a long way. So we will discuss from the past since today how many changes we have seen in India's foreign policy and what will be the way ahead in this direction. So after our independence in 1947, we see that Nehruvian policy was in place, under which we were following Panchsheel agreement inspired by the Buddha, which means that we will respect each other's coexistence. So this was our policy back then, and we do not want to intervene in any country's political, geographical or territorial sovereignty, and we were expecting the same from the other countries. But in 1962, when China attacked us, this policy touched the realism. So this event can also be termed as the shift from the imagination to the realism, and it shaped India's foreign policy. So now our policy has changed from the idealism to the realism. In the realism, we started putting our interest first, and this policy has reached its zenith during the Indira Gandhi reign, and we can clearly see its application during the India-Pakistan war for the Bangladesh. Since then, in the 90s to 2000, in between, we see that we come across some weak governments, and we do not see many changes in economical or the political. So after 2001, we see a little inclination towards becoming the global major power in the city, because other countries were emerging very rapidly and India's growth was slow. But after 2000, we started to compete with other worlds and started its position as a global world power. As we see it today, we always, since the 1947, we are following the neighborhood first policy. We never attacked any country first. We always think about even for a war in our only defense. If we see today's current scenario, the China has emerges as our biggest rival. If we see the territorial disputes between the two countries in many northeastern regions, this has come up as a challenge. Also, if I talk about the recent Ukraine-Russia war, India decided to stay non-aligned. So this is also an important characteristics of India's foreign policy. But now, as we see that India is not picking up a side, he is continue doing his business, continue taking a good relations with all those countries in which they have good relation or they have trade relations. So it has changed now from the non-alignment to the multi-alignments. There are no more two power group only. We have a lot of global player now. So India is becoming one of that. So as I say, the changes in the foreign policy of India now, the major and the most consensus is that we have to protect the interest of our own people.